If you enjoy true crime content in ASMR form, this is the channel for you. So, I promise you'll love it here. Today I'm going to be reading you a true crime book to help you sleep. But before we get into today's case, I just want to shout out my first comment winner, Pin Up Abs 98. Thank you so much for being the first comment winner, and shout out to you. If any of you guys would like to be featured in one of my upcoming videos, just be the first one to comment on the most recent video that I post, and you can be featured. So anyway, guys, I don't want to hold you all for long. Sit back, relax, grab a snack, and enjoy some crime time. To authorities, 21-year-old Omaima Aree Nelson did not fit the profile of a killer. The Egyptian-born beauty had dark black hair, olive skin, big brown eyes with a slim build. She was accused of committing the most gruesome murder in the history of Orange County, California. Nor could they believe their ears when she made the comment, quote, "Nothing tastes as good as the man I married. It's the sauce that does it," end quote. Omaima was born in 1968, the exact date unknown, and moved to the United States in the early 1980s. She always wanted to live the California lifestyle. For her, it would be a chance to leave behind her life in Egypt, where she had been victimized. As part of her culture, she experienced genital mutilation and had been essayed twice by different men. In October of 1991, Omaima went to a bar and met 56-year-old William Nelson, who was playing pool. William was a large man, standing 6'4" and over 220 pounds. He was attracted to the exotic beauty, as were other men. Within days, the two got married. The newlyweds moved to Costa Mesa, a county within Orange County, where they rented an apartment. Omaima soon found her marriage unraveling as William began to reveal his abusive side. He assaulted her multiple times. Whenever he forced himself on her or acted violently, she relived her memories from her past. He also expected her to participate in bondage and other fetishes. He would have her tie him up and perform sexual acts on him. Not only was she receiving abuse, but she was also expecting to administer it to her husband. Before meeting William, Omaima had a boyfriend named Robert Hansen, who was from Huntington Beach. They had separated in 1990. He had also wanted her to engage in bondage with him. In 1991, the tension between Omaima and William reached a climax on Thanksgiving Day. William assaulted her again. Additionally, he threw a kitten out the window of his red Corvette while driving. Upon entering their apartment, Omaima was hysterical when she stopped herself. She did not want to take any chances of William unleashing his temper on her again. To please him, she acted as though she was sexually interested in him. She seductively asked him if she could tie him up, which he quickly agreed to. She tied up her husband, making sure his arms and legs were secured to the bed frame. Seeing him restrained before her did not do much for her sense of safety. She experienced the same feelings of terror she experienced when she had been subjected to genital mutilation. She did not know it, but she was experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. Like many abused women, she feared her husband, but felt trapped. It was at that moment she snapped. Reaching for the clothing iron, she bludgeoned him with it, causing him to yell out in pain. She she was outside herself as she became further detached from reality. Calmly, she took his head, placed it in a pot, and turned on the stove. When his head was cooked, she placed it in the refrigerator. Omaima placed his hands in another pot and cooked them in oil to burn away his fingerprints. She used the garbage disposal to eliminate any remaining body parts that would fit, including his genitals, after she castrated them. Throughout the night, her neighbors heard her garbage disposal running. Unbeknownst to her neighbors, her garbage disposal was being fed an ongoing supply of body parts from her Thanksgiving turkey and her husband. She placed additional body parts in a suitcase in the freezer. There was a part of his body that she had special plans for, his ribs. While his ribs baked in the oven, she went to her bedroom to change. She put on a red hat, red shoes, and red lipstick. When she heard the oven timer go off, she took out his ribs and ate her grisly dinner. She would later state they were just like the ribs prepared in a restaurant. Oh my God. There were still body parts that were too large for her to handle. On December 2nd, she called a friend of hers and offered to pay him to eliminate the rest of her husband. Her friend agreed to help her. However, he notified the police instead. The police arrested her at home on the same day. February 21st, Omaima appeared in Orange County Superior Court. She was charged with first-degree murder and pleaded innocent. She was also charged with assault on Hanson, her ex-husband. She was also charged with assault on William when she held him at gunpoint. During the trial, her attorney testified she was psychotic at the time of the murder. He stated that her husband's abuse had triggered her extreme behavior. The jury deliberated for 6 days and found her guilty of second-degree murder. She is serving 28 years to life at the Central California Williams facility in Chowchilla, California. In 2011, she was denied parole for a second time. Alyssa Allen looked through the window of her East Los Angeles apartment and witnessed something shocking. She saw a black man running naked in the street. His face, chest, and stomach were covered in blood. As he ran, he was looking up to the sky. She called the police. When she hung up the phone, Alyssa ran to her friend's apartment. 24-year-old Tanisha I can't pronounce that last name, Yisis, and had been spending time with Antron Singleton, the man she'd seen running in the street. When Alyssa entered Tanisha's apartment, she let out a blood-curdling scream upon seeing what had happened to her friend. Antron Singleton was born on September 15th, 1976 in Fort Worth, Texas. However, he grew up in East Dallas. From the time he was a child, Singleton revealed his creative ability. By age 7, he started to write poetry and became inspired to become a rap artist. By age 15, he started to perform his music to the public anytime the opportunity presented itself. He started performing under the name G Spade, but would later change it to the Big Lurch. His new stage name was inspired by the 1960s television comedy The Addams Family. The show depicted a ghoulish family where the character of Lurch was the family's butler. Just as with Lurch, Antron was formidable size, measuring 6 feet 6 inches tall. Wow. Don't tell me his big ass about to be killing people. 6'6" is crazy. Antron moved to California as he felt it had greater promise for making it in the music business. Through the years, Antron achieves musical success by performing on his own, and as a member of a group, he worked with other rappers such as Looney Colino, Mac Trey, RBL Pose, and the Oakland, California was not tight, and they broke up shortly after the release of The Family. Antron kept trying, but he was getting discouraged. Establishing himself as an artist was more difficult than he had thought. His dreams of becoming a success became more elusive with each year that passed. In 2000, Antron was driving home from his 24th birthday celebration when a drunken driver crashed into him. His injuries included a broken neck. During his stay in the hospital, he was heavily medicated for pain. The pain that he experienced would stay with him long after being discharged from the hospital. It would also play a role in a gruesome murder. Thomas Moore and his 21-year-old girlfriend, Tanisha Says, lived in southeast Los Angeles. Their apartment on 108th Street in Figueroa was in a distressed area of the city. It was located next to the Harbor Freeway, 2 liquor stores, and a cheap hotel. On April 19th, 2002, Thomas and Antron got together to smoke PCP. Antron used PCP because it relieved him from his lingering pain. Antron knew Thomas from the music business and was visiting the area to record an album. Tanisha was not at the apartment as she and her 2 children were visiting a friend. On April 20th in the afternoon, Antron experienced a powerful pain. The pain-killing comfort from the night before was rapidly fading. Looking around his shabby apartment, he realized he was out of drugs. A horrific feeling rushed over him. It was a feeling that surfaced from the darkest part of him, a darkness that could no longer be contained. Every pain and disappointment he ever had was presenting itself in full force. Antron drove back to Thomas's apartment to get more PCP from him. Tanisha was alone in the apartment. Her 2 children were in school and Thomas was out. When she heard a knock on the door, she opened it just enough to see who it was. It was Thomas with a crazed look in his eyes. She immediately felt a chill rush through her as she knew this man was not alright. Thomas plowed his way into the apartment, knocking her down. When she started screaming, Thomas beat her until she was quiet. The sounds of her screaming only intensified the fear he felt. The apartment for the PCP, but could not find any. The feeling of desperation, fear, and anger overwhelmed him. He grabbed a large kitchen knife from the kitchen, and plunged into Tanisha, causing her to release a chilling scream before she grew quiet. He stabbed her repeatedly in the chest. Jesus. At some point, while stabbing her, he realized it was not enough to satisfy his urge to destroy. Using the knife, he sliced open her chest cavity, grabbed her right lung, and began to feast on it. Goddamn. When he finished his morbid feast, he stripped off his clothes and ran out of the apartment. Tanisha's friend and neighbor, Alyssa Allen, saw Antron running down the street and called the police. The police arrived and arrested Singleton, who growled at them like an animal. Alyssa rushed to Tanisha's apartment to make sure she was alright. It was then she was confronted with the most horrific sight that would haunt her for the rest of her life. When the coroner examined her body, he found that she had multiple stab wounds. Her neck and jaw were broken and a fractured eye socket. Her chest had been ripped open and she was missing her right lung. A 3-inch knife blade had broken off near her shoulder. When Singleton was examined, blood and pieces of human flesh were found inside his stomach. The blood and flesh were a match for his victim. Antron's trial was arraigned on June 13th in Compton Superior Court. Upon hearing the evidence, Superior Court Judge Jack W. Morgan ruled that Antron was sane at the time of the murder and would stand trial. His defense attorney was Milton Grimes, the owner of Antron's record label, Black Market Records. During his trial, his defense attorney suffered mental impairment due to his drug habit. In less than 1 hour, the jury reached a guilty verdict. He was convicted of first-degree murder, torture, and aggravated mayhem. Antron is serving a life without the chance of parole. The judge added a second consecutive life sentence. He is serving his time at the California State Prison in Lancaster and has spent more time in solitary confinement than out of it. So that is the ending of today's video.